right there is a skill.
All right, so tell me what's happening here.
Oh, no wonder this thing isn't open in the center. There's something. What I'm trying to do is thread this through this piece of dowel. And it was used, as I understand it, they had it threaded through this piece of dowel.
And the dowel just helps keep it kind of organized so that you can...
Keeps it from chewing up your hands. This stuff is very abrasive.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got to get a screwdriver to put through there because the hole is
Totally
probably
clogged.
there's an animal living in there.
Huh. So then how does this thing work? Like this is...
You'd put on around your waist and you'd pull the...
Around your waist or kind of around your chest or?
No, waist, as I understand it. This would hang from your side,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd be using this to tie the shade tobacco. It gets very floppy and would tend to, the stalk wasn't strong enough to hold up the plant. So what you did is when the plants were maybe 2 or 3 feet tall, you tied the cord on the tobacco and then you tied it up on the wire that was over your head. And then about every 2 weeks you'd go in and you'd basically make sure that the tobacco was wrapped around, the tobacco stalk was wrapped around the cord so that it didn't flop over.
So that's something they're using in the barn?
No,
Oh,
this
out in
is
the
out in
field.
the field where it's
Okay.
growing.
Okay.
Because the tobacco fields where they grew shade were divided up into bents. A bent is 15.5 feet by 15.5 feet. And at the corner of every bent, there was a post and heavy duty wire that was 3/8 of an inch in diameter would run from the top of the posts all the way across the field. And then there was smaller gauge wire that ran in between, and that held up the cheesecloth, and it was also the wire that the string was attached to. And some people, this is ordinary binder twine, which is what my father would have called sisal or sisal, or sisal sometimes it'd say. That's manufactured in Yucatan. It's grown, it's a kind of agave plant called henequen. And, but this is a small ball of binder twine. I can remember seeing balls that were that big around that would go in a reaper binder for cutting grain.
So, and that's made out of leather?
This is leather. It's a leather basket, about 6 inches in diameter. It has a wooden bottom.
Do you think it would have been handmade, that basket, or you would
Might have been.
you'd purchase that?
That I don't know. It looks like it might have been handmade. There probably would be a harness maker in town who could produce these things.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna get your shirt all
I don't know if
dirty.
it's going to go around me because I'm fat. This was probably carried by
Kids?
an 18-year-old boy with a 36-inch waist. So not me at all.
And so you're saying, but that kind of twine is not the kind of twine that the girls were using to...
No, what the girls would use to hang the leaves that were broken off the stalk was very much like kite string, or the kind of string which, again, in my childhood, almost any general store would have balls of it that would be used to wrap up packages.
But you could kind of break it with your hands.
Yes, it's not very strong.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember people in the stores. I can remember going into Kellogg's store and buying things that they would wrap things up in newspaper, wrap string around it, and tie it, and then break the string with their hands.
So this is in your town?
Yeah, this
Kellogg's
is Copiague,
store.
New York. This
Yeah.
is 100 miles west of here.
Right, but I imagine they did the exact
Every
same
store
thing
would have
here
the same stuff.
at
yeah.
the First National store or something.
As a matter of fact, in most cases, there would be the ball of string, and it would go up in the ceiling. There'd be like an eye hook, and it would come across from that, and the string would just be hanging down over top of the counter, where you would actually buy something, and they'd have to wrap up the newspaper around whatever it was that you bought.
All right, well, thank you for this
Okay.
little session.
Okay.